Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about mental health self-care. And so in summary, I'm going to share with you guys my favorite face masks and other self-indulgent exercises that I do that you can also try so that you can take your hashtag self-care day pictures for the gram. Okay, look, before I go any further, I am not mocking any of these things, even though it might seem like that's what is happening here. But my point is to just highlight that the kind of self-care that I'm going to be talking about is not about self-indulgence. In fact, according to behavioral science, such a weird word, behavioral science, the best way to take care of yourself mentally, to just generally be a happier person, is actually outside yourself. And living outside yourself and not living for you and not having all your focus on you. So that's what I'm going to be primarily talking about today. But you know, if you do like taking those self-care hashtag things for the gram, go ahead and do that. But more often than not, that is really not what's going to get you to a place where you are better mentally. So yeah, I hope this helps. Today I'll be sharing 7 habits that you can incorporate into your life that will help you to better take care of your mental health. So let's get into it. So the first one actually is stress management. And I know I started this video by saying that the best way to take care of yourself mentally is outside yourself, but I think this is one of the exceptions. We live in a society that is very much centered on glorifying workaholism, if that's a word, and just pushing yourself beyond your limits, or sleeping for 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day. I mean, it's just glorified to not take a break and to just work and work and work. But for your mental health, it's imperative that you give yourself a break. It's okay to take a break and to just pull back from everything and breathe. You know, I feel like, especially also now being in lockdown, it can be very easy for you to get to a point where you burn out because you're just constantly going without stopping. I certainly kind of had a phase where I was doing that and I had to just step back for a little bit and take a break, you know? The second habit is emotional maturity. And what I mean by this is being able to communicate how you feel instead of being passive aggressive or letting things build up until you blow over. It's so important to be able to be constantly communicating with the people in your life so that they understand how their behaviors might be impacting you negatively, and also to hear maybe things that you are doing that you may not realize are impacting someone in a negative way. The third habit is forgiveness. So this is, I suppose, self-explanatory, but it's not good to hold grudges and to hold on to hurt and to anger, because it hurts you more than it hurts anyone else. And this is very, very bad for your mental health. Actually, scientific study shows that forgiveness is the single biggest contributor to your general sense of well-being. So it's important for your own health and you know, for the quality of life of the people around you, if you're able to let go of hurt, be able to genuinely say, I forgive you, and also be able to apologize and say sorry when you're wrong, which can be a very difficult thing to do, but it's very important to be able to have decent relationships with the people who you interact with on a daily basis. The next habit is to express generosity. So, you know, again, this is another biblical principle where it's good to notice the needs of the people around you, but it's no use to just notice them and do nothing about them when you can. So if you're able to assist someone or be there for someone, go ahead and do it. And I think what's important here is to not be generous for the sake of uplifting your own ego or to make yourself feel good. You know, you can always give anonymously if you feel like that's going to be a problem for you. But it's very important to just have a generous heart, to be concerned for the needs of others, and to really impact other people's lives in whatever way you can. The principle here is to have compassion. The next habit is to sincerely wish others well. Success of your neighbor does not take away anything from your life. I feel like we're living in a society where there's so much competition and just so much animosity towards people who are achieving good things, instead of us celebrating each other and celebrating each other's accomplishments. Jealousy and not wishing people well only eats you up, and it costs you your peace. So it's really good practice to be able to look around you and applaud people who are doing well and wish people well genuinely. The next habit is compassion. It's important, of course, to be compassionate towards the people around you, but even more so to be compassionate to yourself. How many times do you say stuff to yourself that you would never say to anyone else? Or if someone said to you, you would get really upset. I realized that at some point I was doing that all the time. I had so much negative self-talk. I would say stuff to myself and I'd have to stop myself and think, okay, that's a little bit too mean, you know? And I feel like a lot of us get into that pattern of so much negative self-talk. And being kind to yourself isn't being self-centered. It isn't being selfish. I think most people often think thinking less of yourself is humility, but it's actually more about thinking of yourself less, not thinking less of yourself. You know, it's still being self-centered, even if you are berating yourself. It not only benefits you, but the people around you as well. If you think of yourself as someone who is worthless, what kind of an attitude are you going to have to everyone else around you? And I think something else that is important here is to call yourself out for your bad behavior. Positive self-talk is not about saying, I'm the baddest, I'm the greatest, and you know, some of these affirmations that I see people putting out. I mean, some of them are good for sure, but there's a sense in which you have to be accountable and you need to acknowledge your flaws and be willing to take steps to work towards fixing some of those things that you can fix. You know, ultimately we all need Jesus because we are all flawed, but stop with the berating yourself. The last habit is to learn gratitude and contentment. I feel like one of the worst habits that we can have as people is to constantly reminisce about the good old days. You're taking away so much from the present by focusing on the past. Just the same way as if you're focusing on the future. How do you know you're even going to be here 10 years from now? Not to be morbid or anything, it's good to have a plan and it's good to have some sort of direction, but it's very important to be able to live in the now and to appreciate what you have in your life now. We need to be content with little, just as you would be content if you had more. Be content in whatever position that you're in and just cultivate gratitude and look on the bright side of whatever situation that you're in. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking it out to the end. I will be talking about self-discipline in my next video, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, go just continue doing what you were doing before you started watching this video. But thank you so much for joining me. Bye.